What's going on, people? The problem with putting all your eggs in one basket and being focused on a certain goal, you can be so focused on something that you're missing out on every other event on the way to that goal. I've noticed that a great deal of late. Somebody was asking me about the current situation that we're all going through. I'm talking about 2020. And I was explaining it to him. And I didn't pay much mind to what he was saying until after. After I finished explaining what was going on, he says to me, "But you got to have something to look forward to." And it wasn't for a few days before I realized that he hit the nail on the head with that comment. Let's face it, even when we're going through bad times, we can always look ahead to something else. That light at the end of the tunnel, that situation that gets us through the bullshit. I've always had good times in my life and bad times. But I've always had something to shoot forward to get me through those bad times. And the one thing a lot of people miss out on while they're going through the situation is the memories they're building through it. I had worked a job decades ago. Now, the job was an excellent paying job, but I hated it with a passion. I was there for quite a long time. My goal was to just get the hell out of there and find something else. Now, it was a very, very hot factory. The year-round temperature in there was 135 degrees. Summertime was far worse. It was just a very uncomfortable situation. And all of us felt the same way. We got to find something else. We got to find something else. And I didn't notice until I finally did leave how many memories I had built there over the years. And to this day, I still think of people I knew from the back then and situations. I mean, we used to entertain each other a great deal. And that was the problem. Never noticed it at the time while I was there, but I did see it years after. I think most people are pretty much the same way. I left that job and I got myself into a funk because it seemed as though I had cut off all avenues. There was nothing to look forward to. It took me relocating and changing my whole life to find something to look forward to. Let's face it, we've all gone through good times and bad times. But there's always that one thing at the finish line you have to look forward to. But like I said, the problem is people can be so focused on the finish line that they're missing out on life on the way to that finish line. I had noticed this a great deal at the Kingdom Hall. Now, we all know what their ultimate goal is, the new system. And I was no different. I mean, when I first got there, there wasn't a great deal of changes with me. I still led a relatively happy life. Now, the late 90s and to the mid-2000s, I had a happy life. Went through good times, went through bad times, but there was always something to shoot for. But I noticed when I was at the Kingdom Hall, the only thing you were focused on was the new system, the new system, the new system. It didn't take me long to realize that the life of a JW was a redundant circle, and that's all it was. I have built memories out of every situation in my life. But looking back at my time at the Kingdom Hall, there really weren't very many good memories at all. Matter of fact, I don't think of it very fondly. And I've been in some bad situations where I've had some fond memories. But I noticed the only thing they would talk about were the meetings, the conventions, the war stories out in field service was ultimately led to Jehovah's Witnesses and goal, the new system. When I finally put two and two together and realized what this new system was, I pretty much shot it right out of the air. And the sorry thing was, Jehovah's Witnesses were not seeing this. And I started doing a lot of research. And it got to the point where, okay, if the end result of their new system is complete bullshit, because it reeks of the New World Order and they're not seeing it, I want no part of this, because I knew what the New World Order was at the time. And I also put together that their new system was nothing but a redressing of the New World Order. I always kept myself politically educated, and even when I was a JW, I used to get jumped on for it. We're supposed to stay politically neutral, they would keep on saying to me. And I'm like, yeah, politically neutral doesn't mean you have to be politically ignorant. And this is where they keep Jehovah's Witnesses. They keep them in political ignorance. They say it's for their own good, but ignorance is never for anyone's own good. I mean, they are totally clueless when it comes out of situations on the outside. To me, information is protection. Ignorance is not. I just couldn't believe just how dumbed down they kept them. Supposedly they were living the best life ever, and yet, living the best life ever, they were letting life pass them by. They were so focused on the new system that most of them had no lives. Their lives revolved around the Kingdom Hall. My saving grace was I came in from the outside, so I knew better. I knew what life was like outside, and I knew what I was told about the world outside was a bunch of BS created by Watchtower, because I came in from the outside. More often than not, when I was talking to the guys at the hall when we go out for a beer or something, they would ask me a lot of questions about my life, what it was like. And these were born-ins. But the funny thing was, while they were asking me about my life, what it was like to be on the outside, it never dawned on me to ask them what it was like to be on the inside, because I didn't have to. I was seeing it. To be so enthralled by information on the outside that they didn't know was telling me that they weren't too happy with their own lives. They would put these pasted smiles on, but what did they have to look forward to? The upcoming conventions? More often than not, the guys would try and vanish, but their wives would always go and get them and drag them back. Me, I was on my own so I could sneak out at any time and nobody ever noticed. But I started realizing just how unhappy these people were. They were so focused on the finish line. And their finish line was garbage. Now, 2020 is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. A year ago, let's face it, we all had good days, we all had bad days. But we always had things to look forward to until 2020. Then we had the lockdown, the forced isolation, because there's no such thing as social distancing. How many people lost their jobs? How many people lost their lives because of 2020? And it almost seemed like the end result wasn't anything to look forward to. Most of us who are politically well-read, we can see where this is going. And I'm not going to engage in any political debates. Who you're for, who you're against, for the most part, I like to avoid it because politics is an elaborate shit show, and that's all it is. And it's something I like to avoid talking about. There's very few people I actually will talk to about it. But 2020 has pretty much taken away anything to look forward to. The end result down the line, it does not appear to be a happy one. I got myself in such a major funk over the summer, which I rarely do, because no matter how bad things have gotten in my lifetime, there was always something to look forward to, that incentive to do better. Even when I've crash landed, went broke, I mean, I've made money in my life, I've lost money in my life, but I've always had an incentive to get back on my feet. I never wanted to stay down. It seemed like 2020 has taken the incentive away because there is nothing to look forward to. And a lot of people, not just myself, have gotten themselves into a major funk. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I just kept myself off of YouTube for most of the summer because I just had nothing positive to say. I noticed pretty much throughout the spring, I appeared very negative. And I don't like to come across that way, but I was seeing it when I was watching the videos, and I'm like, I got to take a break from this. 2020 is just not a happy year for anyone. Even when you're in bad situations, you're able to make jokes about it. Maybe I'll see it differently if we ever get by this constant shit show. But as of now, it just doesn't seem no memories whatsoever. I feel like I'm right back in the Kingdom Hall. Nothing to look forward to. And that was why I had to get away from Jehovah's Witnesses. Being so focused on that finish line when they can't even be 100% sure that's actually going to happen that way. When I woke up to what was really going on, there was really no point in me being there. Because in 2009 to 2010, I started really feeling it. I started feeling the funk. Trying to live my life on the outside was conflicting with my life on the inside. And little by little, I started letting go of the life on the outside and focus totally on life on the inside, to come to find out that I wasn't liking it. Like I said, I have no fond memories of my time at the Kingdom Hall. And it got to the point when I started fading, I started looking forward to missing those meetings. Because the thing is, once you realize that every meeting is nothing but a circle, they're identical to the meeting before. It's all about repetition. And I'm sorry, repetition is boring. Repetition clouds your vision. You cannot see the finish line. And Jehovah's Witnesses are so focused on the new system, living the best life ever, they're missing out on life itself. Anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about today. You all have a good day. Just waiting for this hurricane to pass. It's a very dreary day here. You guys have a good day. I will talk to you soon.